Our next speaker is a professor of international relations at the Free University of Brussels. Jonathan Holslag is a political scientist and China expert. He is internationally recognized for his expertise on war, peace, China, and Europe. As an author, Mr. Holslag is, of course, good with words, and who thought that the two words geopolitics and beauty don't fit in the same sentence will now be taught better, because this is the headline of the upcoming presentation, Geopolitics of Beauty. I am looking forward to it and hand over to Jonathan Holslag from Brussels.
My name is Jonathan Holslag. I'm a professor of international politics. My pitch here today to you is going to be that for Europe to survive in this increasingly turbulent international order in world politics, creative industries are going to be decisive. That there is, in fact, a need for a geopolitics of beauty. Let's face it, this world is becoming a challenging and very frightening place also. Many of our citizens are concerned about the instability in the south, the growing flows of migration, for instance. They worry, of course, also about the return of great power politics, the tension and the rivalry between the United States and China and Russia. At the same time, however, we see that those citizens have limited trust and confidence in the European project, the European Union. Only half of the European citizens today has trust in the EU, and I think that is quite dramatic. They worry about different things. They worry about security, about migration, the loss of identity in their society. They worry about climate change and about the environment, and they worry about the state of the economy, the lack of jobs, pensions, the decay of infrastructure, and so forth. I think it's in light of those challenges that creative industries are vital, if not indispensable. Creative industries can be a very powerful incubator of identity and security. It's through creativity that we can express who we are, answering partially to this evolution and trend in which a lot of citizens no longer know what ties them together and frightfully look at the rest of the world. It gives an answer also to economic uncertainty, because creative industries tend to be labor intensive and create opportunities both to people that prefer to work with their hands through crafts and people who rather work with their minds and with their imagination. And last but not least, it gives an important answer to the sustainability crisis, to the desire of citizens to pay more respect to the environment and to combat climate change. But how can we support creative industries? Providing financial support is one element of the solution. And I think in that regard, the European Union, through its stimulus after the COVID pandemic, can play an important role and must also play an important role. I think a significant part of this stimulus should be allocated to clean, sustainable, and creative industries. But money alone is not sufficient, because in the last few years we have seen that capital was available, yet that investment in creative industries has hardly increased. What is the explanation of that? I think, first of all, that it's difficult to expect creative entrepreneurs, those entrepreneurs who want to invest in sustainability, identity, and local jobs, can hardly be encouraged through financial support if, on the other hand, they are being exposed to a flash flood of imports from countries that turn pollution, dictatorship, and social exploitation into a competitive advantage. How can we expect creative and responsible entrepreneurship in Europe to flourish if through our ports day after day, they are being confronted with this flash flood of containers and dumping practice. But there is more. How can we expect creative entrepreneurs to invest and to expand and just to use the best of their imagination if for most citizens it's not really clear and evident why it is so important to support them? Let's make it specific. What most of us expect in life, and also young people expect, is to have a good job. A job that is dignified, that allows us also to be close to the ones that we care for. That's very relevant, that's important, that's something that we must preserve. But on the other hand, we see that the citizens of that, many citizens at least, have a tendency to push their capital, their money, their wealth towards companies that often do not contribute a lot to this economy of dignity, to this economy where citizens are at the center. That too must change, and for that I think we need education. We teach young people to produce, but we insufficiently explain them how they can consume and spend in a way that they make beautiful, creative and sustainable activities possible. So first of all, I think create an equal market, a fair market, and also have an external trade policy that excludes different forms of dumping, education, and then last but not least, philosophically understand and realize that economies are a mirror of our values, and that what we need in Europe, I think, to consolidate and preserve our position is to return to an economy of pride. And I believe that then everything becomes possible. Just one of my students, a political scientist, very recently decided to change track. She decided that with the insights about the turbulent world, she needed to make a tangible contribution and not to become a diplomat or an official. So what she did, she started up her own company in fashion. She, together with her sister, started to design some beautiful products, but then for the production as such, they went around in Europe and now work together with workshops in Portugal and other countries. And I think this is really what responsible creative entrepreneurship should be all about. It's about combining the imagination of beauty, the ideal of humanism, you can say, with the productivity and the efficiency to make nice quality products. So I think altogether that there should not be a reason for despair in Europe. Everything is possible. And it also brings us, I think, to the core of what the European civilization project was all about. The fact that we put man with their limitations and their talents at the center of things. The fact also that growth and progress was defined as the capacity of a society to fulfill the maximum of our needs, not only the material stuff, but also the identity, the importance of being part of a society, with encouraging and stimulating the maximum of our talents and doing that with regard to a maximum of people. And I think that, in essence, is the core of humanist civilization that I believe is still the main explanation of the fact that throughout history Europe played such an important role and will also be the main requirement, I believe, for the European Union to preserve and retain this role in the future. Everything is possible. It cannot be said enough. The world is a turbulent place and is likely going to become an even more frightful place. But I think we have to harness this challenge and bend this challenge into an opportunity to build a society and an economy that is better than what we enjoy today. And that also in that economy, creativity, combined with sustainability, combined also with the need to create high-quality jobs and social security is, I think, what can allow the European project to regain its trust amongst the citizens and also to withstand the competition and the dumping and the vicious power politics that is being unleashed at us from outside. We should not be satisfied with slogans and budgets alone. What we require and what we must ask from our governments as entrepreneurs, as creative minds, is a broad, comprehensive strategy that includes trade, that includes innovation, and that especially includes a shift of mindset away from sterile economic productivity thinking to a kind of economic thinking that really embraces beauty and creativity and ingenuity as the core of who we are and how we produce.
Thank you, Professor Holslag, for this David moment. Thank you for reminding us that we as mankind can push our boundaries as we always have.